This is the Alden Report.
Hey, it's Mike Alden. I hope you're enjoying the Alden Report as much as I am. I love bringing to you new and exciting people that add value to your life. I'm also super excited to announce my latest book, Bestseller Secrets. Listen, if you're an author, maybe you're thinking about writing a book, maybe you've already written a book, maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want to continue to grow your brand, maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want to bring in more leads, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you wrote a cookbook or a children's book, maybe you wrote a fantasy book, a self-help book, a tell-all book, a novel. It doesn't really matter. In my latest book, Bestseller Secrets, I give you all the information that I've literally spent millions of dollars trying to figure this thing out, and I'm going to give it to you absolutely free with my book, Bestseller Secrets. Go to bestsellersecretsbook.com. Again, it's bestsellersecretsbook.com. I give you all the information that I've spent literally millions of dollars trying to figure this whole world out. My books have gone on to do amazing things. I'm a 3-time Wall Street Journal, USA Today bestselling author. I've hit #1 on Amazon hundreds of times. My books have been the #1 book in the world against all books in every category. And I've also done this for other authors. And I'm giving you this information absolutely free. Just go to bestsellersecretsbook.com. You got to pay a small processing fee, but it doesn't really matter, again, because I've spent millions of dollars. And here's the other secret. You can do all this stuff yourself. If you don't have a team, that's okay. If you don't have a lot of time, that's okay. You read the information in my book, again, whether you just started writing a book, whether you've written the book, whether you wrote the book years ago, and you want to kind of resurrect it. In my book, Bestseller Secrets, I show you exactly what you need to do, and I'm giving you the book absolutely free. Go to bestsellersecretsbook.com, download the book, take that information, use it to become a bona fide, legitimate #1 bestseller. I show you how to become a #1 bestseller in less than 24 hours. And again, I'm giving you this information for free. Go to bestsellersecretsbook.com. Again, it's bestsellersecretsbook.com.
This is the Alden Report.
All right. Well, my name is Michael Alden. We are here in Blue Vase Studios. And as always, I always tell you how excited I am to be able to interview, people in the world that have done great things, that are doing great things, and that just really can kind of, teach me. Sometimes I joke around. I say it's like getting my PhD in business, being able to interview total rock stars. My next guest is Loral Langemeier. Loral is also known as the Millionaire maker. She's a 5-time New York Times bestselling author. We met at an event where I spoke, and it was probably one of the first events that I spoke at. I was a little nervous. I spoke for like an hour and a half, and then she spoke after me. Thankfully, I didn't speak before her because she's a total rock star, and she's here to talk about all sorts of stuff. I really want to just kind of get into her brain about money and how to make money, and because sometimes I think I have trouble with that. So, Loral, thanks so much for being my guest.
Hey, thank you. It's great to be here. And we were at GKIC, right? Wasn't this the big GKIC Dan Kennedy event? Is that when we spoke?
No, it was Russ Whitney's event. It was the wealth building event with Russ Whitney. So that's how we, connected, and Russ and I, so I'm obviously in the infomercial space, and then Kevin Harrington introduced me and Russ because Russ wanted to do an infomercial for the Inner Voice.
Yep.
So
Yep.
That's it. So Loral, if you could real quick, I know we don't have a lot of time, and again, I appreciate you being here. So for those who maybe have been living under a rock and don't know who you are, if you could just give us, the kind of the Reader's Digest version. Actually, I would go forever. I don't care, but just who are you and how did we get here?
How did we get here? I'm a farm girl from Nebraska. That's always a funny, people say, what? But we all, started somewhere. And at 17, was given the book Think and Grow Rich. And there began my study of money and people with money. And really, by probably upward of 20, I had met Bob Proctor. I got very introduced to the greats really fast, Mark Victor Hansen, Robert Allen, Brian Tracy, blah, 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 all those guys, Zig Ziglar. And it was like, this is such an interesting world. Like they think differently than the way I, grew up. And isn't that interesting? They're all millionaires. So just started studying money, the money side, not the psychology side. I mean, I know all that, but why do so few people, and it's still the question today, why do so few people become millionaires? Why do so few people know how to make money? Why is having a job still the go-to? Oh my God, it's security. It's are you kidding? Having a job is the most insecure thing you could do, because welcome to 2020, they could just cut you at any time.
So it's interesting you say Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. So for me, the first book that I read was The Magic of Thinking. I wouldn't say the first book I read, but it was the first book that really kind of changed my perspective. It was The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. And then I started to, kind of dive into all these things. And one of the books that I really just, I mean, I read this book like some people read the Bible, which is The Law of Success, which is kind of like the, really the expanded version of Think and Grow Rich. Like when you read that book, Think and Grow Rich, was there one particular thing that you were just like, oh my God, like I have to do this? Or was there like, really, can you remember that moment where you really just had that shift?
Well, and so I'm a very ritual, like I love creating rituals and fun with my family and kids. And so I have made that with a variety of other books, like the go-to. And just a quick review. Also, by the way, those of you out there listening, you should learn to speed read, you get a lot through faster. So every year I read it, Mike. So I would say it's hard to remember the moment, but the one that immediately that it came to me was about like your burning desire. Because I don't, a lot of people realize, they have like a thing they want to do, or they say they have a mission, they say they have a purpose and they're going to live their values, right? We know all that vernacular, but burning desire is something that's really the culmination of all of that and deeper. To me, I say the burning desire is in your DNA. And I'm going to use two double negatives, which irritate the shit out of people. But I would say like, you can't not do it. It's that much intensity, right? You have to. I mean, you get up every day and you're motivated to do it. So for me, it was really just studying this. And it was like, understanding a burning desire and then feeling, what is that going to be? Worked with Bob Proctor for a while. He introduced me to the Kiyosaki gang. Sharon Lecter is like my financial mom. I mean, those are the people that I run with. And the burning desire, not only to become a millionaire, right, to then be able to transfer that knowledge. But I think for me, it was burning desire. Later, and also becoming friends with Sharon, is 3 feet from gold. I use that as a principle all the time. I think so many entrepreneurs quit when they're 1 foot from gold, right? They've gone so far and they just have such obvious things in my mind when I look at what they're doing, such obvious things that they could do to get that last foot, and they just don't do it. So I think that's kind of a progression because it's just been a big kind of book of learning.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you said that. Napoleon. That's kind of Napoleon Hill says exactly that. And so here's a question. Again, I know we got to. I'm trying to figure out how to like. I want to talk to you forever, but so
one part and a 2-part and a 3-part.
We could So Thomas might be mad at us, but so when. Here's a question I have for you on that. And I believe in that. So many people quit when they're just like almost there. Like, how do you know? Do you need a third party to bring that in for you? Because and that's really what's happened to me a lot. I've had third parties take a look at what I'm doing and say, hey, Mike, you should look at this, versus that. In fact, this room that I'm sitting here, this was just a voiceover room. That's all we were doing. That's what we're using it for. And now it's become a podcast for 6 years. And we've had people like you and Cardone and Les Brown and just amazing people. Like how does one find that moment where they're like, I know I'm there? Is there something that they should look for, or should they, engage a third party like you?
Well, in the money and business space, I've had mentors since I was 17. Like that, when I read the book at 17, it was Dennis Waitley who gave me the book. Dennis is how I got to Raymond Aaron, is how I got to Bob Proctor. So yes, I mean, I have like, you name them in the world. I have either traveled with them, business partnered with them. I mean, John DiMartino, I've had businesses together. Bob and I have had businesses. So I don't just mentor with them. Typically I go steps further and end up in companies with them or doing, major projects with them. So yes, I'm a massive third party. Get a mentor, somebody who's got a bigger game than you do, who has a result you want, and rigorous with you. There's a lot of people who say they have mentoring and mastermind programs. And I think COVID created a lot of, I'm just going to say, interesting stuff out on the internet.
A lot of shit.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Just total shit out there. Everyone is a guru. Everybody's got a mastermind. They never actually hear from the person, but they pay an ungodly amount of money to read something that doesn't make any sense and there's no follow through. So it drives me crazy. So yes, I think a third party always brings that extra endorsement, I'm going to say, or a different, for me, what I do mostly for my students is I leapfrog mistakes because my God, they're standing in front of a field of mistakes. And I introduce them to this. It's called the Rolodex. So the introductions and the missing mistakes, just that alone, much less everything else. But I think not only a third party, Mike, should people be engaging? I think, well, I take my third party, and then when they become clients, I mastermind them together. So I think that when people, are solopreneurs, I think suffering, like when you think about running a company, you think about growing and being successful. To be an entrepreneur, I mean, you think about, you have a company. That means you need marketing, you need sales, you need accounting, you need to understand cash flow, you need technology, you need, the fulfillment team, the operational team. I mean, that's just getting started. You need 6, 7, 8 divisions. You
Right.
can't do them all. So when people say, I'm going to be a solopreneur, start a company, I'm thinking, we're going to get a team and money quick. So what I'm known for is helping people get that bootstrapped capital very quickly. Like most of my students, if they actually do everything I say, they could make thousands in a day like that easily. I've had students make 15,000 on a weekend in 2 days, 21,000. Mahar Becker and I did a challenge way back in the day. We said, let's do a 90-minute talk. I did the talk, he introduced and then edified at the end. I did 91 minutes, and we did $986,000 in 90 minutes. Our goal was $1 million. We were just a little short. The sales came after, but a lot of people don't.
Did you feel like a failure when that happened? Did you feel like an epic failure? Did you fall a little short?
Yeah, we did. We were pretty damn excited that it happened, and we did get the $1 million, but we didn't get it in the exact 91 minutes. But my point in sharing that isn't, and I think a lot of you got to hear, like when we share stories, it's not about bragging and that. It's the intention that people don't live by. It's sort of like, I'll get to it. It's like, no, like, let's do it. I remember Bob Proctor, he said, let's make $1 million. And we did it in 60 minutes. He said, let's get 10 people to pay us $100,000 and they'll work with you and I. And I was like in my 20s. I'm like, what the fuck do I have? Oh, sorry.
Right. Listen, I'm from Boston. Listen, you bring those F-bombs.
But seriously, I'm like, my 20s, like, what do I have to offer? I mean, the value point of $100,000 when most people don't make it in a year. And Bob's like, watch this. And we were on a stage and we went out together. He did the pitch. 13 people ran to the back of the room and paid us $1.3 million. My point is, I want to stretch your brains. Like, if I can do it, yes, I had to learn and I trained and I got mentors. But, I've done those $1 million moments really quick. And a lot of you, you're shocked if you do $1,000 a day.
Right.
I always start people, Mike, if I am passionate about helping them make money, because then they have evidence in their bank account. They can't say, well, I hope this works. It's working right now. Now let's have more fun. Because lack of money stands people in the way of so many, everything, gifts, dreams, goals, whatever they want. They can make money. They can do anything.
Yeah, it's interesting what you said too. You said you were 20 years old. You're like, what do I have to offer? And then just a second ago, we're talking about all these, quote, gurus out there. And most of them that are, in fact, in their 20s trying to just, sell a course on how to be successful and never done anything in their life. So it's an interesting kind of dynamic of what we just talked about. So I think when I think of that, I think of maybe like imposter syndrome a little bit. But how does one break through that and realize that, you know what? And I'll be candid with you. I'm 46 years old and I'm just kind of at that point now. I've built some pretty big businesses and done some pretty cool things, but I've really had trouble really kind of talking about a lot of that stuff because a lot of my life, I call it organized chaos, right? So how does one really break through and realize, you know what? I do have something to offer and I do want to share it with the world and it's worth way more than I think it is. How does that happen? How do you do that?
So I'm going to unpack it a little bit, right?
Unpack it for me.
So, well, I'm 55, believe it or not. So you're supposed to say, oh no, you're in your 40s.
I'm sorry. Wait, no way. There's no
way. Yeah.
I thought you were like 27 because I thought you just been in the 20s. I met you. You are, by the way, your style is awesome. You're like your whole, like you as a person. Like I just love your style and you are a beautiful woman. That's obvious. So I'm not just saying that, because I've seen you in person, so.
And me, my cowboy boots and jeans.
The cowboy boots and the jeans. Like when I first saw you speak, I was like, who is this? Like, what does she do? Like all the guys are in suits and stuff and she comes out in jeans and then I was like, all right. She knows her stuff. So unpack it for me. So how does someone do that in their, in their 20s and that really does have stuff? And how do they also figure out that they don't have anything?
Results. I say that, but there's some people who are horrible out on some of these platforms and they actually don't know a lot. They're misguiding people into very dangerous paths, especially in the money path. There's some people doing, really risky stuff in the digital currency space. I'm watching some people drop 7 figures, 6 figures into projects.
NFTs.
Oh, into what they're in altcoins, and and I'm a huge believer. Like I have projects going too, but just to wander around and like sprinkle pixie dust. So let's start with unpack the 20-year-old. So I was 20, you were 20, we all had that beginning years. So what I did very early on is I hinged myself very closely to the folks that I just told you about. I wanted to be in their space. I said, well, I'm going to go work with the best. And I served them first. So I was the master distributor of Kiyosaki's cash flow game. I didn't just sell Kiyosaki stuff. Then what did I do? I started a marketing and sales, really a marketing business of selling other people's great stuff. I went to Bob Proctor. I went to Keith Cunningham. I went to Sandy Botkin. I went to Les Brown. I went to Zig Ziglar. So I was like their little machine. I was selling so much money for them and so many products for them. Of course, when they had a stage, guess who was invited to the stage? So I think a lot of 20-year-olds, yes, you have huge value. Like I had huge value. I don't think our value, there's evidence in our value at that point. I think we're still learning and we're still putting our package together, call it what we're going to be doing. So I tell a lot of them, like partner up with people who already have big brands and big success. So hinge to success is one of my first ones in your 20s. And even if you are doing well, why would you do it alone and not hinge? I mean, I'm about to launch a book on how to make your kids millionaires. Believe me, I'm going to hinge that to a lot of other successful groups to help move the whole initiative forward. So I think hinge to other people's success. How do you know when you're there? Evidence, right? I mean, 1999 was my millionaire year. I did it in real estate and gas and oil, a combination of those asset classes in the Midwest. Texas and Oklahoma, Kansas, and Mississippi were my millionaire markets. And then other people started following me. So I think you got to get the evidence and you have to do it for real and not just touch it and go back. Like, I'm running around Clubhouse, right, where we met out there and a few other platforms, and people, there's a lot of, there's a lot of million or millionaire conversations, but then, me, I dig right in. I say, anybody can make, like somebody just recently said, well, I make 2.7, 4.7. I said, but how much do you spend? 4.6, 5.6. What are you worth? What do you bring home? And then you go to the value side. Again, if you're hinged to bigger brands that are endorsing you and you have some evidence, even if you're not a millionaire yet, like my talk track when I wasn't a millionaire and I was in that world of selling a lot of stuff, said I'm not one, but I'm with them and I'm going to become one faster than you've ever seen. And when I really said, here's my go button, here's my, my time, I did it in 6 months. So I had a lot going on, but it was out of sequence. And really what I found, and that's what I teach that's different, is when you do the right thing at the right time. So for example, when I teach people to make new money, what do you think, Mike, the number one mistake always, it is unanimous, unless they stay coached by, and really tight and, text me when they're making the money so they don't spend it wrong. What do you think the number one mistake with new money for most people is?
They put it in the bank.
Worse. They put it in the bank, and then what do they do with it? They pay off old debt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So instead of buying a database or buying, getting their marketing machine up or hiring somebody, God forbid, like they actually get team, they pay off old debt. So they make it. And I mean, that's the ultimate rat race. So I don't care if you are making it and you are debt free. Now what? You don't have any money for later. You have no compounding power of money, no investments. So a lot of people have a lot of nice runway, but they do a lot wrong. They're out of order in the way that they're doing it. And I call it sequencing. And I just started teaching it. I mean, once I became a millionaire in 99, I never looked back. Then, then it's about my personal best. Then I wanted to be a multimillionaire. And then I wanted to hit that 10 million mark. And then I want to hit the 20. Then you just keep growing. And then it's about, personal best and fun and strategy.
In a second, I want to ask you a couple questions. I want to ask you, if someone had, I don't know, let's say 50,000, 100,000 right now in the world we're in, like what would they do with it? And then I want to talk to you a little bit more about that little thing that you held up right here, which is your Rolodex, also known as your phone / computer / your entire world, and really how to kind of maximize that in a second. We're on with Loral Langemeier. So Loral is also known as the Millionaire Maker. She's a 5-time New York Times bestselling author. If you're listening right now or watching right now, you can tell just how dynamic she is and just how real she is. And she's continuing to do it despite the fact that she's really one of those people who shares the stage, not only shares the stages, but she's the front line. She's the one who people actually come to watch and listen to. If you'd like some more information, you can actually just go to Just Met Loral, ROLAL /the Alden Report. Laurel, what are people going to get when they go there? I was talking to one of your team members, and I know you're going to give away some stuff. So like, I didn't, it just happened. I got to be honest, I didn't write it all down. So they go to justmetlaurel.com /the Alden Report. What are they going to get?
Yep. So it's again at Just Met Laurel. It's JustMetLoral /Alden Report. You're going to get, because you just met me, this is a fun site that I use. You're going to get my Millionaire Maker book, which is our signature book. Millions of copies around the world have been given out. When you read the book, you find the chapter that's the family that's most like you. There's 7 profiles of families and what they do to themselves. Some people are in debt. Some people, like you just said, I'll answer that next, have lazy assets, 50 to 100,000, a house paid off. They have lazy assets. So we got to do that. Some people are what I call lifestyle junkies. They make it, spend it, make it, spend it. They look wealthy, but really they're freaking broke. They have no money investments really going on. So you're going to get my book, read it thoroughly. You're going to get what I call my financial infrastructure video. Now, this thing is a rock star thing. So financial infrastructure is what no one teaches. What entity, what bank account, what merchant account, how to get corporate credit. It's all the foundation, right? If you're pouring concrete to put block or stick and you're building a house, this is where most people miss. They build a lot of wealth on a very broken structure. So we're going to do a financial infrastructure video lesson on how to, and what are all the steps to do that, who are your top people. We're going to put more cash in your pocket. How do you put more cash in your pocket? How do you do what I call the 21st century lemonade stand, which is honestly, Mike, where I start people, is let's just get that basic transitional money happening, like quick 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 a month. Let's go. Then we'll build a big business. But a lot of people, like, they'll have this huge mistake of sitting back and saying, what am I going to do? They plan for 6 months to do a business versus let's go make money. The business will show itself. Very different structure that I take you through. I have a whole money rule contract and a money rule structure. And I have some very high-end sales strategies. How do you do 6, 7, 8-figure sales? And probably one of my favorite things out there is a software. So it is a software that is designed to keep you safe in the stock market. So you put money in it. It's called Flip Wall Street. We won awards. We've beat Robinhood. We've won Wall Street awards. We've just got our final funding, huge valuation. But it's a software designed by a guy who ran $600 billion for the Deutsche Bank. And it basically lets you invest in the market like the way the big guys do. And it takes you out of the market. So a year ago, March, coming up in the next week, everyone, the market dropped to lower than 1929. Most people lost an average of 33%. We lost an average of 2.8. So the software is designed to pull you out and get you out of a runaway market. And if you think your financial planner is going to do it, I would check 1 year ago. I bet they didn't. And I bet you lost. And guess who made all the money? You say, yeah, but I'm doing great now. Well, do you know how much you paid him to actually lose the money, make the money again? They make it all on the lose and the go back in. So It irritates me that the financial planners scored and people are like, yeah, but I'm doing so much better now. It's like, well, you should have never lost in the beginning. You missed 33% because you had to catch up and go. Like right now, my son is a genius in math and finance. He's running our portfolios out of the software. We're doing 78%.
Wow.
Like we're killing it. So I'm going to give you free software. So there's a lot out there. So I made a big deal about what I'm giving you. It's huge.
That's amazing. So they're getting all that stuff for free. So it's justmetlaurel.com /the Alden Report. They're going to get all that stuff for free. I mean, that in and of itself, if you're watching, listening right now and you don't download this stuff, like you're crazy. Okay. So let's say someone has 50 grand in cash right now, sitting on the sidelines that people like to talk about, 100K or what have you. And let's say let's say if they lose that, their life isn't going to change, but it's certainly going to hurt. What would you suggest that someone would do with that kind of money right now?
Well, so first of all, it's going to hurt worse than they think. So let's just say on an easy, so I teach double-digit return investing. So let's just say on an easy number, and you have 100 grand, you can figure out how to get it to work, and I'll tell you that in a minute, for 12%. Simple, easy. Like you shouldn't even get out of bed unless you make less than that.
Right.
So that's a 12,000 on the 100,000 a year. I just want to put some perspective to what the loss is. That's $1,000 a month of true passive income. So you're going to put the money to work and it's going to hand you a check. So really when you're invested and you have 100,000, your numbers need to be thinking for every 100,000, I'm going to expect that those little $100,000, like think about little army, they're going to get to work for me and they're going to produce me 12. And I just told you in this software, I'm making 78%. So that's $78,000 on 100,000. So they're losing bigger. Then next year, what is it? So next year, let's just say they made let's go back to our simple little number. They made 12. So now next year, year two, they're at $112,000, right? If you accumulate it, then you go up, and then like you should be able to double that 100 using the strategies that I teach in 5 years. A lot of people teach the 72, the 7-year principle of doubling. I have people doubling every 2 and 3 years. So we're very aggressive about investing. So when you have any money, if it's not working, you have what I call lazy assets. So where do you put it? Well, a lot of times, Mike, what I tell people is go put it in that software for now. Just at least it's doing something. But my first fan is let's go find some real estate projects. Because you get the depreciation schedules, you can get the depreciation and appreciation schedules, you buy in the right market. I'm a huge fan of putting teams together. A lot of people, like I was just on a Clubhouse this morning with the group, and this lady's like, well, I want to do some real estate, lives in Berkeley, but I just need to find investors. I said, have you ever done a real estate project? Well, no. I said, well, money's not going to find you. You need a project. You need a team who knows what the heck they're going to do, because money follows a team. Money doesn't follow you because you're sitting in Berkeley with an MLS listing. They're going to follow a team. They're going to follow a plan. I said, I just got a $20 million drawdown on a construction project. So money's everywhere right now. It is so freely flowing. But people don't have 3 things. They don't have a team, they don't have a system, and they don't have a plan. How do you get it? The fastest way, you hire a mentor. And it drives me crazy. Michael says, oh, I can't afford 25 grand. It's like, for this brain? I mean, it should be 100 and it should, it's ridiculous how cheap I charge for my experience. Right. You're the same. I mean, come on. You and I together, you and I should do a $100,000 program like Bob and I did.
Listen. As I'm listening to you, I already wrote that down. I said, yeah.
Let's go roll.
I wrote. You can see. I don't know if you can see it here. It says right here. It just says, "Partner up." I don't see it there. Boom, partner up. Like that. So,
and I think those watching, especially those in your 20s, like, don't run to be so successful. I mean, yes, I want you successful, but put yourself around more mature wisdom and experience. And you say, well, but I'm, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. You know what? It is so funny. My son at 21, he's like, Mom, I'm not learning anything in college that I've learned from you. Right. So we have such a mutual respect because I've taught him so early to be so financially literate. I mean, he has access to hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit. So he listens to these calls where people say, I can't find $20,000. He's like, I said, I know. He said, why do you do it? I said, because it's just sad that so many people are living such compromised lives and they just won't get financially literate and business literate.
And they don't have to, right? And they don't have to.
Partner. I have huge real estate projects. I have cannabis projects. I mean, that's why I exist, is to teach you, what do you do with that 100? I'm not a financial planner. I cannot legally take it and invest it for you. Right. But I can educate you. I can introduce you to cool people that are clients of mine that are multimillionaires that can run circles around. Like I told this woman this morning, why would you risk a project, especially in California market, versus like go to Kansas? That's where that's where I met this guy. I'm doing a huge apartment fund in Kansas. Awesome stuff. And if you don't want to partner, like, learn from us. I've done over 1,000 real estate transactions. Don't you dare go out there and risk it by yourself. So I would invest in our software. I would invest in the market. Digital currency is a runaway train right now. I think it's going to correct. But all that being said, if you missed it, I mean, I have Bitcoin. I bought at 4, 9, 18, and I went back in at 32. I don't know if we'll see it go, how far we'll see it. I think that here's what I would say about digital currency for those who don't know enough about money. It sounds sexy, but if it's the only 100,000 you have, I guarantee you, once you put it into that blockchain technology, you're going to have a hell of a time getting it back to fiat currency. So if you have to pay your mortgage and you have to pay your kid's college bill and you're that person with only 100, that's a risky proposition. Because
I've been involved in crypto since 2015. I actually did an infomercial about it. I had a mining operation in Illinois, and most people do not have the stomach for crypto, because right now I think Bitcoin's at like, I don't know, close to 50. It'll drop to at least 30 again, and that's just the way it works. And people don't understand that, and they see it like, oh my God, same thing. I mean, I was buying at 5,000, 3,000. I was mining it at 3,000. But yeah, it's something that, look, I tell people, if you're afraid to lose it in crypto, don't get involved.
That's right. Yep.
it is gut wrenching, but it's also fun too if you have some money, to play with it. So, all right. So I know we don't have a lot of time, but I think I'm going to try and keep you as long as I possibly can, if I can. So you hear this all the time. We hear it on Clubhouse, and again, we briefly talked about Clubhouse, but for those who are listening and watching right now, I personally don't scream about a lot of things on my own personal Facebook page because most of my quote friends are still people that are that grew up with me in the projects who are doing nothing. But I did scream about crypto about 5-6 years ago. I've screamed about transcendental meditation, which changed my life. I scream about CBD, which is a brand that I have, and Clubhouse now. Like, I want to just.
I love it.
It is. I try to describe it for people. I say it is the greatest networking opportunity of our lifetimes. Period. And people say, oh, another social media app and blah, blah, blah. But I just want to kind of transition to what you had held up here. It is your ability to increase your network at a rapid pace is just remarkable. So I don't know, comment on that. Tell me a little bit about how you feel about Clubhouse. And then also let's talk about, your network is in fact your net worth.
It is. When I was 21, I remember Bob Proctor saying, and I was in, the rooms with John Asraf, and it was so fun. We were being mentored together all at one time. I mean, that the group that we kind of grew up with, I'd say under Bob's tutelage, it's so fun to watch us all now, who we all became. But fast forward to 21 years old, Bob said, whoever has the most people in their database and can monetize it will win. And so what do you mean win? He said, we'll have the highest net worth. Right? Network to net worth. So I remember every little business card I ever got, and I put a value to it. And now one business card could be worth $100,000, $1 million. I don't know. I've got a whole process to, help sort that out. So every person is extremely valuable, the name, phone number, and email. And if you can only get a name phone number and email, I take a phone number over an email every day. Just so you know, because you can text them and call them. And here's the thing I would say about Clubhouse. So I like it. I think I'm just going to say I like it.
I'm just going to leave it there.
I'm going to leave it there because here's my concern.
Well, hold on. Let me before you say it. Okay, so you got somebody who, I'll just tell you, last night I was talking to a guy. I did a crazy thing. You could see the zebra painting behind me. I did a crazy thing. I backed an artist, and that turned into we launched the vodka based off of his art, and it was a lot of fun. We did some great stuff in Art Basel. Didn't make any money. Had to shut it down. But anyway, a guy who was following me reached out to me and says, oh, I want to get on Clubhouse. So I got his number and I got him into Clubhouse. And then it was like midnight last night too. And I was like, you know what? So I started talking to him on Clubhouse, and I could just tell he was like down and out, didn't know where to turn, doesn't have a network, doesn't know anybody. For people like that, isn't it a great opportunity to listen to people like you, and to learn from people like you, and to just learn and just to kind of network, right? I mean, I see it as just amazing for that, but I could sense your hesitation, and I think I know why, but I'd like to hear why. So
I'll even reframe, right? If we're going to do a video, so I'm going to say for us, you, me, love it. For networking, love it. The one thing I'll say about all social platforms is followers are interesting, but putting them into a structured database is where you really have to go. Right. So it's interesting, a lot of these, again, 20-year-olds, I call them, I'll have all these followers. I have 1 million followers, but you know what? If you followed me into my database where you had to click and opt in, how many would you have? Because that's where you have a control. That's a sellable, but followers are not sellable. The database is. All that being said, my hesitation, the little bits are, there's so many people, again, it goes back to the misinformation. Sure. It's an opinion land more than it's a vetting land. Right. But I think the internet's the same. I say the internet's like the bathroom wall. I can write anything you can write all sorts of crap about me. I can write crap about you. So I don't think they're places to do due diligence. I think they're massive networking, massive connections. You can get to people you never thought you'd get to. So love it, love it, love it. My hesitation, just from the finance standpoint, is the amount of pitch rooms, because I am a shark. You're a shark. We've been doing this right before shark was even a vernacular, because our name was an investor before Shark Tank gave us a shark name. So my concern in those rooms is I'm not going to say misinformation, but the violations of law that are out there. And aren't you a lawyer?
I am a lawyer. I know it, and I don't look like. In fact, Heather Havenwood, who was in the room, she like called me out. She's like, "What's up with your profile picture? You got glasses and this wicked happy hat, and you're a lawyer." I go, "Yeah, I'm a lawyer, but it's like wicked happy. By the way, it's a clothing line that I own, and we talk about happiness, and that for me at this age, like I just want to be happy. I just want to be wicked happy. So, but yeah, I'm a lawyer. Yeah,
But so that was my hesitation.
I don't dress like this in federal court if I need to go.
So, but are you active practice still?
I mean, I keep my license active and I keep up on stuff like when as it anything that it relates to marketing, dietary supplements, books, traditional marketing, I'm still pretty active in that stuff. I have a lawyer that works for me. In fact, his office is right behind me. So they say a lawyer who represents himself has a fool for a client. Plus, obviously we have outside counsel, but yeah, I'm still active. And in Massachusetts, just on a side note, in Mass, most states you have to have what they call CLEs, continuing legal education. In Mass, you don't have to do that. So a lot of lawyers who transition out of the career, they just go inactive because they don't want to pay and take classes. Right. Anyway, but this isn't about me.
So Clubhouse, back to that. I love a lot of parts of it. I just think those who are looking for that are down and out, I would just, I would hate for them just to fall in love with somebody without knowing how to do due diligence about what they are really saying or if their information is valid. And more risky are some of those pitch rooms where they're giving advice of people that you and I know it's not going to work. Right. Some of the stuff's illegal.
Trust but verify, Ronald Reagan said.
Yeah. So I was just but I have that caution everywhere I go. So I shouldn't even put that over Clubhouse. I put that everywhere I go, where I listen to people and I think, oh my God, that information is going to get you in so much trouble. So it's probably that part of me. It's actually, I liken this to Dr. Phil. I was in Dr. Phil for so long. And one day he said, Laurel, you actually truly want to educate these people and like have them get it. He said, TV's entertainment, darling. He said, so we got to make these, entertaining. So whether the facts get changed a lot, he said, we need the story to be interesting. I said, yeah, but we need it truthful. He said, not on TV, So that's kind of why I wandered away. I said, I want to really educate. I want people to get it. So that's probably my overarching passion is I want people to get it, because once they get it, I'll change their life and they can, how much fun people are when they're millionaires or making enough money that they can actually jump on a plane, go do something, go ski, go to another. I mean, hell, when I used to travel, I would go every continent. I was in Australia about every month for 5 years, between 10 and 15. You know how many people would just jump on a plane?
Right.
I can't afford it. A plane trip to Australia is like $5,000. I said, no, first class is like 20 grand. So.
That's funny. It just reminded me, I got a phone call years ago, a couple of years, actually it was about 2-3 years ago. And it was from Alex Moore, which is Ty Lopez's partner. And he said, hey, listen, we're doing this event. It was the beginnings. I don't know if you follow Ty, but he's, buying, it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors there, but he's buying up these brands, right? Like Radio Shack and Models and, and Pier 1 and all this other stuff. And so it was like a Wednesday and Alex is like, hey, we're doing it on Friday. I'm here in Boston. He said, can you be here on Friday? I go, this Friday? He goes, yeah. I go in like 48 hours. He goes, yeah. I go, okay, sure. And just hopped on a plane and flew across the country. You're right. I mean, the ability to be able to do that is just awesome. So, I just wanted to maybe kind of bring it back to, for those who are, the people who listen to the Alden Report, they're entrepreneurs, they're business people. They're also like, a lot of people, they're looking for something. And so there's a pretty diverse mix, but there are a lot of people that are in fact hurting right now. Like you said earlier, there is a lot of money flowing. There's a lot of opportunity, that they say never waste a good crisis, and this crisis we're in. And a lot of people are in fact capitalizing on COVID, but for those who are maybe down and out and they are at a job like you had mentioned earlier, and they want more and they want more for themselves and for their family, but they just don't have the money or even the credit, like what would you say to those people how would they start? And then lastly, like how quickly does it usually happen?
Depends on them. So I created what's called the marketplace. So I actually put on marketplace twice a month where people come and learn to make money. So the thing I would say to employees is if you want to have security, you need to have, you want lower taxes, more opportunity to make an upside. You need to become an entrepreneur. So you can keep your job, but I teach people very quickly, Mike, to become an entrepreneur. So every couple of weeks I do a marketplace. We put them in a marketplace, we analyze their skills, and we teach them to make money. Like right now, what could you sell? Right. So I'm pre-selling. I got lots of stuff to sell, right? I got tons of books. I have a new book coming out. But a lot of people don't realize that they actually have a gift and a talent, but they don't have a way to monetize it. They're not organized to even take money. Like I'll do these sometimes, Mike, and people don't even have a Stripe or a Square or a Venmo, Cash App. They don't even know how to take money. They say
Right.
they want to make it, but they don't even have the basics. So when I talk about infrastructure, again, back to that Just Met Laurel gift, like you got to get that infrastructure. So we start the day. It's a 2-day show that I do for Marketplace. And I teach them how to get totally set to be able to receive today money. I don't care, go get a PayPal account. Like, but right now, like I'm going to pre-buy something from you, Mike, you're going to buy something from me. We are going to exchange. And, I always say women do a lot of trading, and I say trading is illegal. Like that's not going to help you make money. That's just going to help you get some goods and services, that you each want. I truly want you to exchange money because there's a giving and a receiving that has to happen. But I teach people how to make money bootstrapping, bootstrap original capital, pre-sell, pre-buy, whatever you're selling. If you're selling a product, right? I'm selling CBD stuff too. If you have a little product or thing you're going to sell, you can put some education to it. You can say, for 20 minutes, for $20 right now, I want to explain the benefits of CBD.
Right.
Can we start that right now? Here's how, how do you want to pay? So I teach people very quickly how to get to the money. Most people don't value their expertise. They say, well, they could just go look at the CBD benefits. Yeah, but if I could get it like that, and you've already processed and you have it in a report, I'd buy for $20 a report faster. That's kind of principle number one. Principle number two, it's a database builder of buyers. Most people look over that small, I call it the end cap, right? The $5, the $10, the $20 item. Everybody wants to sell their big ticket, right? I know how to sell high tickets. I've sold $100,000 programs. Like
right.
I am a high tickets closer, but you know what? Everybody forgets the little stuff. So the principle I teach for all those people who are down and out is they can sell a 21st century lemonade stand thing. They can sell something. And here's the principle. I want 100 people to buy something at $10. Now you have something to sell. Now let's build a bigger business around it. But if you can't get one person to buy anything, why start? So I put people in a very different structure of figuring out what they're going to sell, make it sellable, collect money. Now you have evidence. Now people want it. Versus there's some people who, let's say, just go think about it, meditate about it, and journal about it. If nobody's going to buy it, don't build it. They're not coming. So I am very, very strict with my students about being a moneymaker first, because then you can do anything. Once you know how to make money, then we'll get your company, and then we'll get your corporate credit, and then you'll get an investment portfolio. All that will come. But if you can't make money just from what you have, right? You can drop me. You got the same thing, Mike. I bet you could. You could drop us any continent, any place, any language, and we'd make money. I know I'd make it on the trip over.
It's funny is I've made money on the plane with people like literally sitting next to me.
Me too. Oh, I'm always selling.
I flew across the country. Actually, I was on Sirius XM I was promoting my book, and I was trading Bitcoin on the plane. And the guy next to me was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I was like literally flipping Bitcoin, like on my laptop, bing, bing." And he was like, he was talking, and then we've done some business together. That's really funny. I know, I've had you here for a while, and I do want to ask you one more question though, as relating to what you're just talking about, and then we can close it with telling people where to go to learn more about you. So you'd mentioned if you can't sell anything, then why bother? I also love what you're saying. Like, hey, I love your style. It's like look, positive mental attitude is important, but just wishing for shit ain't gonna happen. You got to actually go out and do it, right? So like, there are so many people that just, oh, I'm not a salesperson, or I don't like to sell, or I don't want to sell anything. But yet they're broke. How do they overcome that fear? Is it a confidence builder? Is it just the learning from others?
I actually have structures to help them get over that. Because they're just not taught. They're scared to sell because they're not taught. So I have a very specific, in fact, it's not in that Just Met Laurel, but Thomas is out there listening. So can we do like a super offer for your people?
Absolutely. You kidding me? Yeah.
So normally, like I have $97 for a ticket to go to that marketplace. Mm-hmm. And it's not a lot. Anybody can figure out how to do $97. Right. Believe me, you have it in food. You are drinking coffees. You're drinking alcohol. You're smoking cigarettes. You're doing something. It's sure. $97. Right. So put it to yourself and come to my marketplace, and I will teach them how to very specifically, especially now, like you don't even have to go to a stage. You don't have to go to an audience. You just do it this way.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to do much. I mean, if you really want to do it, you can just go like this and go, click, I'm so scared, I don't want to be seen, but I have a cute picture. So, if,
Right.
if you have to read a script, I say then click off and read your script, but stay the course. And we really will teach you how to make money, because then you have a confidence about it. It's like, somebody does what I have. So there is some mental to it. There is just structure and just basic training to it. And here's the most basic training, Mike. It's called common sense, right? When do you want to start and how do you want to pay? And really, and getting that money, getting that talk track is so critical for people. So we're going to do like 2 tickets for $97. So we'll give like a double. So it's like less than $50 to learn exactly this methodology. And what's cool is once you learn it, you can't, like, I'm not going to take it away. You never have to see me again, but I better hear you out making money on a regular basis. So I know people can do it. And once they make money, it changes their life. And then we get to I'd say more fun conversations. How do you keep it? How do you invest it? But if you're not making it, to your point, I'm on the other side of pretty candid. If you're not willing to do it, stay broke. Can't help you. I really, don't whine about it if you're not going to do anything about it.
I love it. If you're not willing to do it, then stay broke. I'm gonna end it at that, but I'm gonna actually have you close it out because I want you to tell people where to go. We've been on with Loral Langemeier, also known as the Millionaire Maker. She's a 5-time New York Times bestselling author. She's got a no-nonsense attitude and mentality because she knows it. She knows that this stuff works. But like she said before, if you don't want to do it, then just stay broke. I mean, it's so powerful. And for those listening, if you might be a little bit offended by that, but get over it, because if you want to change your life, if you want to make more money, if you want to have a better life, if you want to have the things that Laurel has, or even the things that I have, or others that you see out there, you have to start. You got to start somewhere. And this is why I wanted to have her on, because I've seen her speak live. We've talked, several times offline, and I'm just super impressed by what she's doing. And she continues to do it, and she continues to change people's lives. Again, thank you so much for being here. So Laurel, for those, again, for the viewers and listeners, you just continue to give stuff away. So they go to justmetlaurel.com/the Alden Report. And again, what are you giving them again? It sounds like it's almost too good to be true.
I want to be clear. Is it the Alden Report or Alden?
The Alden Report? Yep.
Okay. So we're going to do 2 tickets for $97. So I know that's not just a give, but we'll put it out there. That's like a double. But the gifts, like you're going to get my Millionaire Maker book. You're going to get what I call my financial infrastructure recording, how to reset your financial baseline. You're going to get Put More Cash in Your Pocket, which is how do you just get money started moving into your household. 500,000 will change people's lives a month. That does actually change your life. You're going to get our money rules contract. You're going to get our kids program. You're going to get a whole bunch of stuff. And the software. The software is the big one, is do not let the market on a runaway market. Because I think we both know this is so overinflated right now. When it corrects, it's going to correct hard, and you better be taken out fast, and don't let emotion do it. Have a software do it.
I love it. Again, we've been on with Loral Langemeier, again, the Millionaire Maker, 5-time New York Times bestselling author. She's, speaks all over the world. She's doing amazing things for people. And if you'd like some more information, again, you can go to justmetlaurel.com/the Alden Report. She's also doing some cool things on Instagram, the Millionaire Maker. You can find her there as well. You can find her on Clubhouse, where we kind of reconnected. And again, I just want to thank you so much for being here and spending the time. I know you're crazy busy. My name is Michael Alden. That's Loral Langemeier, and we'll see you soon. Hey, it's Mike Alden. I hope you're enjoying the Alden Report as much as I am. I love bringing to you new and exciting people that add value to your life. I'm also super excited to announce my latest book, Bestseller Secrets. Listen, if you're an author, maybe you're thinking about writing a book, maybe you've already written a book, maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want to continue to grow your brand, maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want to bring in more leads, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you wrote a cookbook or a children's book, maybe you wrote a fantasy book, a self-help book, a tell-all book, a novel. It doesn't really matter. In my latest book, Bestseller Secrets, I give you all the information that I've literally spent millions of dollars trying to figure this thing out, and I'm going to give it to you absolutely free with my book, Bestseller Secrets. Go to bestsellersecretsbook.com. Again, it's bestsellersecretsbook.com. I give you all the information that I've spent literally millions of dollars trying to figure this whole world out. My books have gone on to do amazing things. I'm a 3-time Wall Street Journal, USA Today bestselling author. I've hit #1 on Amazon hundreds of times. My books have been the #1 book in the world against all books in every category. And I've also done this for other authors. And I'm giving you this information absolutely free. Just go to bestsellersecretsbook.com. You got to pay a small processing fee, but it doesn't really matter, again, because I've spent millions of dollars. And here's the other secret. You can do all this stuff yourself. If you don't have a team, that's okay. If you don't have a lot of time, that's okay. You read the information in my book, again, whether you just started writing a book, whether you've written the book, whether you wrote the book years ago, and you want to kind of resurrect it. In my book, Bestseller Secrets, I show you exactly what you need to do, and I'm giving you the book absolutely free. Go to bestsellersecretsbook.com, download the book, take that information, use it to become a bona fide, legitimate #1 bestseller. I show you how to become a #1 bestseller in less than 24 hours. And again, I'm giving you this information for free. Go to bestsellersecretsbook.com. Again, it's bestsellersecretsbook.com.